not suitable for children. And while we're at it, another apology of sorts. Viewers of the show last night had to endure an exceedingly long speech by Congressman Hakeem Jeffries of New York, who was a so-called impeachment manager. Now, judging by his title, you might imagine that Mr. Jeffries is some sort of statesman, an august figure in the political realm. Not so. In fact, he's a joke. And not only that, but a race baiter. Watch this.
The President of the United States chose to pull the sheets off and reveal himself in terms of his tendency to be a racial arsonist, fan the flames of hatred. Accepting assistance from a hostile foreign power like Russia is treasonous behavior. The President of the United States is a dangerous con artist. It seems that the Trump campaign conspired with Russian spies to sell out our democracy. We do know that every racist in America voted for Donald Trump.
We have a hater in the White House, the Grand Wizard of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Now, wait a second. So the president is not only a Klansman, but also an active Russian spy. That's quite a combination. Under normal circumstances, a claim like that by a sitting member of Congress would be headline news. But as it was, nobody seemed to notice. It's normal now. They're all inflamed extremists. They will say absolutely anything. Here's Mazie Hirono, for example, who's an actual sitting U.S. senator from Hawaii, telling you it's ludicrous, maybe even a sign of mental illness, to believe that impeachment has been in the works since 2016.
They're still saying that we were out to get the president from day one. Some kind of a weird conspiracy theory that I have to say even Kavanaugh brought out. They really believe this stuff. I find it incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's just a weird conspiracy theory. Just like when people said the federal food pyramid was backward and carbs didn't really make you thin. Or those wackos who claimed that Iraq had no weapons of mass destruction. Or for that matter, that UFOs were real. Just pure insanity like that. Impeachment in the works for years? You'd have to be a nut to believe that. Well, unfortunately, nobody passed the talking points to Democrat Al Green, so he just went ahead and admitted it.
Well, the genesis of impeachment, to be very candid with you, was when the president was running for office.
Oops. Somebody accidentally told the truth. Don't worry, it won't happen again tonight. Though you gotta love a man who talks with his eyes closed. We'll still bring you a lot more on impeachment throughout this hour. At the core of the Democratic case against the administration, though, is the claim that Trump and the people who work for him are flouting the law. A Government Accountability Office report makes several allegations to that effect. Okay. But let's add some perspective to that. How, for example, does this administration compare to the one it replaced? Well, Darrell Issa knows the answer to that. He chaired the House Oversight Committee during the Obama years, and then he retired. He's now running for Congress once again from California, and he joins us tonight. Congressman, thanks so much for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me on, Tucker. It's good to see you, even if it's remotely.
It is, but this is something that you are really in an almost unique position to answer. So the idea that the administration flouted the law, that's being debated on the floor of the Senate and on the other cable channels. But I figured we were taking a step back and asking, do the claims against this administration, how do they stack up against what happened in the last?
Well, 7 times there were requests to get a GAO study, and 7 times they found that the Obama administration violated a number of laws related to their spending. One of the most egregious was actually when the EPA was found not just to have spent inappropriately, but to have violated the lobbying and the propaganda laws, anti-propaganda laws, meaning they spent your tax dollars trying to influence an election. So these things happen, and in all 7 cases, the Obama administration was found by the GAO to have violated. Not once did a member of Congress then say, well, let's impeach him for it, even though in the case of a couple of the examples, like the bird dog exchange, which was a violation of the law, the president was directly involved. This is the double standard. It's not that presidents don't do things that technically there's some rule against. It's that they're suddenly finding this to be acceptable to impeach somebody for, the same as the other charge, which is obstruction of Congress. Imagine how many times President Obama said, no, I won't give you the information. We went through subpoenas, we went to court. In the case of Fast and Furious, we did it for more than half of his administration before we finally got all the documents.
So Fast and Furious, I mean, that was the scandal in which the Obama administration allowed a flood of illegal firearms into Mexico. The result being that people were murdered. That's not speculation or some conspiracy theory. That happened. And was there an active effort to impeach President Obama over that?
Not at all. We held the Attorney General in contempt. We went to court. We got a judge, oddly enough, appointed by President Obama to agree with us, and eventually we got the documents. And certainly I would like to have gotten the documents faster, but there's a process in America, which is if the two branches of government disagree about the discoverability of something, you go to the court and you get it resolved. This administration has been no different than the last administration for claiming from time to time privilege. The difference is they've gone into impeachment over what we otherwise would have gone to court over.
Right. So it's not, and just to be clear to viewers, it's there's not an attempt to excuse away wrongdoing by anybody if it occurred. It's an attempt to make the point that this is a departure from the way things normally operate. You're watching the destruction of our institutions. This is a massive change, correct? I mean,
absolutely.
You've got perspective.
And a follow-up. In the case of Fast and Furious, when we did get those documents where President Obama had claimed executive privilege, thousands of them not only didn't fall under privilege, but they pulled back their claim of privilege, meaning the president wrongly used executive privilege to deny us documents for more than a year.
I remember.
Certainly, we could have said, let's impeach him, but that's not historically what we do. What we do is we let the people of America decide in the next election.
That's exactly right. This is very different from what we've seen before, and it sets a precedent I don't think anyone's going to want to live with. And I appreciate the perspective you bring to that. Gerald Issa.